Hey y'all. So in today's conversation and video, we are going to talk about etheric wings. For some of you, this idea might be new. For others of you, you might be looking for material or videos on this very idea, this notion, this concept of etheric wings, energy wings, wings in the non-physical that are extensions of our aura and energy body. I'll just share what I have experienced in my life with wings and what I've come to understand, and then hopefully this clicks some things into place for you or helps give you a sense of community with your wings and knowing that you're not alone in the sprouting and development of your wings. Um, what I have come to observe in my relationship with my wings is that they really seem to develop and activate during a time of immense soul stretching and heartbreak in my life. I feel like before this activation happened, I had other versions of wings, but these ones were meant to get my attention for a reason, and it was to teach me to fly and to take that dragon's eye view, that bird's eye view, and to not collapse and crumble into all of the pain that I was in when they sprouted. Whereas in the past, I feel like they helped me kind of fly unnoticed into certain spaces, especially in the realms of energy, working on people in one-on-one sessions and in like group energy containers. And that was perfectly fine at that time. However, when my most recent batch of wings sprouted, there was a series of wings that sprouted. Um, it was meant to grab my attention. And so, what was going on in my life at that point in time was my partner had really, really spiraled and ended up in AA, and we had to have like an intervention. And then at the same time, one of our cats ended up um, beginning her dying process and then did die a few weeks later. And my car broke down in like rush hour traffic the day after she died. And then a few weeks later, my other cat who I'd had, she was my first cat that I took in as an adult, and I'd had her for 14 years. Then we received news that she was dying. So I lost two of my fur babies within 5 weeks of each other. My car broke down and I had no car for several weeks, and my husband was like in AA, and it was just all kinds of grueling matters of the heart and soul stretching that was going on. And at that time, I was like clawing for dear life to like emotional regulation practices. I was doing whatever I could to cultivate peace, even though I was in freeze mode for a lot of it. And I know some people say when you meditate too much, that can like strengthen the freeze response in your body, but somehow, some way, it made way for me to be okay here today, right? And during that time, I realized with Tumbles, who was my 14-year-old kitty, she was and is a soul friend from many lifetimes that passed. I know we had connections and ties to the Dragonlands, and I know that as my soul friend and ally, that she gifted me the activation of my wings through the pristine timing of her exit, of her departure, because it was an initiation for my soul. And so, as I was in this immense grief around her and my heart was breaking, like I had literally just said to my soul dad, I was like, and I had found out Billy G was dying. And when I had told him Billy G was dying, I was like, I'm so grateful it's not Tumbles, because if it was Tumbles, I think I would kill myself. Like this is how low I was at that point in time. It was pretty hard. And I am so grateful it was Billy G first, because I feel like she really paved the way for me to be ready when Tumbles left, even though it was only so shortly after. It was the time that I needed to regroup myself to prepare my heart for the pain and heartbreak that would come with having Tumbles no longer physically in my life. And during that time with Billy G and with Tumbles, I was um, facilitating a lot of energy hospice care for both cats. And I was running a lot of Karuna Reiki through my system, which those of you that are familiar with Karuna it's a very high vibrational energy stream that really helps open your heart to compassion for yourself and for those that are suffering. It really helps promote acceptance and forgiveness, and in this case, readiness of the heart. Um, and it helps create peace, and it helps wrap up like loose ends from past lives and karmic ties. It's a very, very potent Reiki. I don't feel like it's as talked about as some of the other streams of Reiki. I personally love it, and it helped me a lot in ensuring both kitties had as minimal pain as possible and helping my heart prepare for that loss. And as my heart was preparing, Billy G crossed, and then I received the news of tumbles. And then during that time with my heartbreak, we have the back of the heart chakra. And the back of the heart chakra, you have like your ribs and stuff that connect to the spine and all that jazz back there. And at that time, as I was preparing the loss of tumbles, I noticed that I was starting to have trouble breathing. And I'm pretty studied in like mind body awareness. I have a mind body journal that I've had for like 4 years now. Like, and no matter which way I journaled about the heartbreak and the sadness and the grief that I had with tumbles, as well as like woes of the past, because like to me, the backside is symbolic of our past. And no matter what I journaled on, and I journaled on so much during that time because I was also writing letters to Tumbles to accept her departure, the pain wouldn't go away. And then eventually this pain in my back, it kind of started um in between the shoulder blades, and then it gravitated more towards the right shoulder blade. And it was agony. It was so painful. And it was really interesting because, again, I study my body and energy. I noticed that it came when I would like the more aggravating, excruciating pain seemed to set in when I was at home, safe and away from all the hustle and bustle of work. Because, as you know, life goes on when pets die, and people don't really pause to wait for you to grieve and catch up most of the time. Um, so at work, I would have a hard time breathing, which I've learned over the years when I'm going through heart activations, which wings sprout out of the backside of our heart chakra, that I have a difficult time breathing as I go through these activations. And I've learned that usually this difficult time of breathing passes within a couple weeks. And see, as I talk about it, I'm all, because I feel the activation in the heart, just sharing the story, right? And so I noticed I was having a hard time breathing. And then there came a point when like I would try to sleep, and it just felt like I was like getting stabbed from the inside out on the back shoulder blade. And like I had my husband run Reiki and put flower essences on the wing to help coax it out, to help soothe it, because I realized it was breaking through all these painful emotions of the heart. And this was going on as Tumbles was dying. So there was also all that grief. And I realized as we were going through the like dying process of Tumbles that in some way I was also going through a dying process in my identities and the ways that I related with communication, which Tumbles died from mouth cancer. And I realized she was mirroring back to me how if I didn't step into content creation and writing and poetry and singing and showing up and creating in the ways that my soul was destined to, that I very well easily could have mouth cancer as well. And at that point in time, I was really struggling with like my teeth and gums, which thankfully through embracing the messages from Tumbles, embracing the messages of the wings at this point in time, my teeth and gums have radically shifted for the better. And it's interesting because I'm wearing my blue wig today, which is throat chakra, and then purple, third eye, right? Um, and so my husband would run energy on the wings and then anoint with essences, and the essences would like take away some of the pain, but like it just hurt and it wouldn't go away. And then it would tone down a little bit at work. And then one of the things that I found really interesting with the wings was they were a gift and an activation and expression of the heart and the throat, because the throat chakra is like the chimney of our heart, right? And that I was in pain, and I could tell that I had like resting bitch face because I was in pain at work sometimes, or I wasn't as sunny as people are used to seeing me. And so I was forced by my soul to be honest with the soul tribe that I do work with. I'm so blessed to work with a lot of soul tribe, to tell them that I was in pain. And then when they asked why, I was like, well, it might sound a little out there, but I have wings growing in, and I still don't know what kind of wings they are, but they're growing and they hurt. And these beautiful souls, these beautiful people who were just getting to know me at that time, they were all so sweet and so receptive to the wings growing in, and like they would give me hugs and pat my wings, and it was just very healing for me and helped make way for the wings to continue to sprout and not get caught up in all the emotions. Um, of the past, which I feel like Tumbles and I had relationships during the witch wound days, and there was the sister wound back in those lifetimes. And so I feel like having these women, these sisters, hold my wings and not harm my heart was very healing in the activation of these wings. And so the wings that ended up sprouting during this time were bat wings, which bats are very tuned into, I would say, intuition. They navigate through like sound more so than sight. And for me, I have clairaudience, and so I navigate more so through sound versus like clairvoyance. And so the bat wings came first, and then the angel wings came second, and then the dragon wings came next, and then the phoenix wings were there all along, I realized. And so they sprouted in a series, and one of my angel wings had a really hard time coming undone, which I found it really helpful because there wasn't a lot of material online about etheric wings. And I feel like the angel wing was like one of the harder ones for me to sprout. And so I downloaded the One Mother app from This Is Maria, and it came with the free, if you downloaded it on a subscription, or free trial or whatever, it came with the Wings workshop for free. And interestingly, in the Wings workshop, she helped people basically unbind like a stuck wing, which is what I had been intuiting, thanks to my bat wings, what was going on. And that really helped free up a lot of pain. And she also spoke about how the pain goes on for several weeks and it's just really, really painful. And that was very validating too, because there was a point where I was like, should I go to the doctor? Should I not go to the doctor? Is this just intense emotional heartbreak causing pain in my back? I don't think so. I'm conversating with myself in the ways I normally do where it clears it. And so it gave me a lot of validation and relief, and that helped me surrender more into the wings growing in. And then as the pain dissipated, I still would um I would meditate. I found a few meditations on YouTube where they had activation of different wings, like fairy wings and butterfly wings. And I feel like it doesn't matter if the meditation is out there matching the wings that you have growing in. I feel like it's more so the matter of being able to go into a meditative state and anchor into that meditation that somebody provided for you, and then allow your imagination to shape shift those wings into the wings that you intuitively feel are growing in. Because I did not feel that I had butterfly wings growing in or fairy wings growing in when I was working with that meditation. Um, However, it was helpful for me to envision my angelic wings flying in the meditation in the ways that they guided, right? So you have to have imagination and trust yourself, which I feel like the bat wings really helped me with that. And I feel like Tumbles really wanted me to have that help from the bat wings because she guided and worked with me a lot in my energy sessions. And I keep looking up because I have her little canvas up there, and I know she's like totally tuned in, like, give me all the credit, girl. Um, and so um, it was really helpful for me to use the intuition and imagination and go into that meditative state and kind of make it my own for my own motivations, I guess to say. And so and I feel like she gave me the wings to help me rise and fly and go into other dimensions that like she used to go in and out of as a cat for me. And this was like her gift to me to help me go into those dimensions without her here, yet still meeting her there. And she still works energy sessions with me. When she crossed, I've had the door open like 3 times on 3 different sessions because it would be her running in. And thankfully, it was like all people that knew Tumble, so they already knew it was her coming in. Um, and then when Tumbles died, I had written this poem and I realized instead of being my ride or die, she had transitioned into becoming my ride or fly, which this kind of reframe for the heart. This is like transmutation, transformation, evolution. This is a huge shift. And this is also the stuff, the magic that makes it possible for the wings to come through. And so that was how my wings really started. And then I started meditating more on them, and then I used to like to dance and like flap my wings and make movement in my back to help open it up, to help my physical body strengthen and adjust to the energetic recalibration of the wings because I realized my muscles, excuse me, were going through changes as well. Um, and that was really helpful. It took me a while to get the hang of unfurling my wings and then furling them, unhanging or unfurling, furling. And it also took me a while to not have them constantly like droop. Like I felt like they were drooping. And now I feel like it's really easy for me to shapeshift like and sprout whatever wings I need in any moment. And then Maria had talked about how you can set the intention that your wings work for you. And I've noticed my wings definitely do work for me. I feel like I don't have to do as many energy shielding practices as I once did. And I feel like that also helped activate the wings. It was like I proved my trustworthiness to the universe. Like I was ready to receive this massive gift of the wings because the wings will take you places you can't go without wings, right? And into new horizons. And so I did so much shielding, so much grounding, so much rebalancing of the chakras over the years, so much shadow work, so much purging, so much shedding, so much integration, and repeat and repeat and repeat that the universe knew I had really cultivated strong energetic neural pathways in my aura. And so with that strength going, and that coherence present, it made way for the wings to be able to fully come out and be present. Because if you think about it, like think of like a bird who has a wing injury and then um, they can't fly as gracefully with as much strength with as much focus versus if they don't have a wing energy or wing injury. And so I feel like in having all these shielding practices that I worked with over the years, it created the strength for me to fly with that um, momentum, with that focus, with that balance, so that the energy was already there, almost like training wheels for my wings to take over. And then eventually my wings have become self-sustainable and they shield me so, so often, where like I don't even really have to do shielding practices anymore. Every now and then I go into a shielding practice. It depends on where I'm working energy, if it's on certain like heavy spots in the lands, but usually the lands protect me, honestly. Um, every now or like really heavy energy, like working with people that have a lot of unhealed trauma. Sometimes the shielding is beneficial then, but still I feel like my wings do a lot of the work for me nowadays, and I'm really grateful for that because I used to spend copious amounts of time shielding and no, I don't have to anymore. It's great. I do shield, but it doesn't take as much energy and focus. And then I've also set the intention and programmed my wings to protect my partner, my pets, our vehicles, our financial resources. Recently, I expanded the wings further to protect both of my mothers and my adopted brother. And I could feel when they expanded, and I was really tired kind of for a day when they went into that realm, but then I feel like they've stabilized again and they're like, cool, we're doing our thing. And yeah, it's been interesting for sure, evolving with the wings. I would say that I've had knowledge and awareness of my wings for the last, by the time this video releases, the last like year and a half, year and 3/4, something like that. Which I'm sure by the time the video releases, I'll have more knowledge on my wings too. And so, yeah, that's been my journey with my wings. And I hope that it helps you in your journey. Just to reiterate, started with back pain in the like back bottom part of the shoulder blades, kind of, and then breathing pain in the heart, also like the back rib cage, there was breathing pain. And this went on for about 3 weeks, I want to say, maybe even 4 weeks. And I knew what it was, and I just moved through it. And then if you have a partner, you can have them use intentional touch and have them set the intention to connect with their higher self and the beauty, love, and integrity of their soul and their higher power for your highest and best good to stabilize and balance your body as it adjusts to your wings. And then have them put their hands on the backs of your shoulder blades up top, as well as underneath the shoulder blades, or possibly one up here, one down here, one up here, one down here, running cross currents to just help things balance and stabilize because it really does help. Saltwater baths are helpful too because it helps absorb and draw out some of the frequencies of emotion that the wings are like sprouting through. And if you have flower essences, it's a great idea to work with flower essences and anoint those spaces at night. I used I think it was St. John's Shield from Flower Essence Services on my wings because it helps create like a light shield to protect because just like baby animals, like you don't want your wing to become compromised. And I don't know, some people might say like that means you don't trust in the like integrity of your wing or whatever. But I really love my flower essences and it was what I did, so whatevs. Um, and then wing meditations, if you can find them on YouTube, maybe I'll make one. As well as just actively working with that heart opening stuff. I did a lot of like cat cow and heart opening yoga as well. Um, and that was helpful. I did it with the intention to support my wings. Journaling on things around the matters of the heart, past and present, with the intention to help your wings sprout more fully and with less pain. Um, and yeah, I think that's what I got on wings and my wing journey. I hope this is helpful to you. And I would love to hear your story of what was going on for you when your wings came online. Maybe this will further help you integrate them by sharing and being witnessed by myself and other commenters and viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll see you in the next one.